guys, how's it going? So I'm standing right out here in the vegetable garden. I'm getting ready to plant my garlic, which I'm very late in doing this year. It's usually something we plant in the fall, but usually about the beginning to mid part of October. We're now nearing the mid part of November. It's just something I forgot to do this year early on. So we're gonna get it done today. So I'm hoping that this is an encouragement to those of you who maybe wanted to plant it and haven't done it yet. If you can still work the soil, you can still plant. We have done several videos about garlic planting in the past, but I realized that some of you guys are maybe new since the last time we did a video about it. So I thought I would just go through the process. I'm also going to be setting some sprinklers today. Our fall season is very strange most years. A lot of times it gets severely cold, like in the single digit temperatures really fast. Like it'll go from 40 to 5 degrees really fast, and we have no moisture. Like their 10-day forecast shows no rain. We haven't had rain probably maybe in the last month or so. We have had no rain. So it gets so cold that we have to blow our irrigation system out so that it doesn't freeze, but our plants still need water because the wind still blows and it dries things out. So I'm going to be setting sprinklers as well. So here's the vegetable garden. We're going to be planting the garlic in this 3x4 here and the one on the far end. I've got some leaf mulch sitting on top that will be turned into the soil today. I have some dahlia tubers I still haven't dug, and I have no idea if they're still good. It got really cold, so we'll see. I've got my big digging fork right here to help me dig up the dahlias. And then in this cart, I've got my little digging fork, and then I've got my Biotone starter fertilizer, and there's my garlic. And this is the only onions I have left from our crop this year. These are Walla Wallas, and these are the smallest ones that grew, and we've worked our way through all the others. Garlic is one of the easiest things to plant. Like honestly, you pop it in the ground in the fall, give it some fertilizer every once in a while. They are pretty heavy feeders, so if you keep on fertilizing, when you plant, and then maybe a couple of times in the spring, you'll just harvest right around the first part of July the next year, and then you can start the whole process over. So it's very easy crop to perpetuate from year to year. So there's a couple of different really common types of garlic. You'll hear the word soft neck and hard neck. This right here is Italian. It's one of my favorites. I grow it every single year. It is a soft neck, which basically means that the stem that comes down into the head of garlic is soft. They typically store a little bit better than hard neck varieties. They usually have more cloves per head. They're irregularly shaped usually, so the hard neck usually has like one big row of cloves that may be a little bit bigger than soft neck cloves, but there are fewer of them. Soft necks are typically a little bit more mild than hard neck varieties too. They all vary a little bit, and honestly, like unless I tasted garlic like right next to each other, I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I'm not a garlic connoisseur, but we do use a lot of it in cooking. So to grow your heads, what you're gonna do is you're gonna break apart the head of garlic and get individual cloves like this. You're gonna plant each individual clove like this, and it will turn into a head by next year. So you may have, like, let me tear this one all apart and see how many heads of garlic I can get just from this single head here. I don't know if you guys can hear my chickens in the background, but I think one of them's laying an egg right now. She's going nuts. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I can grow 11 heads of garlic from that one head that I harvested this year. You do want to make sure to leave the skin intact. Don't take off the outer layer because that's a protective layer that will keep moisture from entering in and rotting out your clove. So now I'm going to turn the camera around. We'll talk a little bit more about the soil and the fertilizer. Look at all of these cloves. Aren't they just so pretty? Like, look at this one. It is a massive. That's a massive clove of garlic. That's gonna produce a really nice head next year. So this right here, a little closer look, is the 3x4 bed. We have individual irrigation that runs to each one of our beds. I have it unhooked right now for winter, but this soil is still workable. Like I can get my fingers down in. It's not frozen yet. Isn't that pretty? Oh, it's just so pretty. And in this space, I'm gonna be creating 5 rows. So 1 in the center and 2 on either side. I'm not gonna worry about turning that leaf mulch in per se. I mean, some of it will, make it down into the trench, some of it won't, but it will break down over the course of the winter and work its way down in the soil. But it's still important to use a starter fertilizer. I use this for every single crop I plant in this space. Let me get the label so you can see it. Those of you who watch our videos know I use a ton of that, have great success. That really helps with root development, which is the only thing we're concerned about right now. So first, let's get these dahlia tubers dug, see if there's any life left in them, and then we will start planting the garlic. So I think my dahlias might be okay. Now, this video is not about dahlia storage. I did see that the Impatient Gardener put out a good series on how to store your dahlias, and it follows pretty much exactly how I follow my dahlias, so we'll link her videos down below. They're very informative and very good, so check those out if you want to learn more about dahlia storage. Row is done, so I made a trench about 2 inches deep or so, and then I sprinkled my fertilizer at the bottom of the trench, and then I placed my garlic cloves. So how you do it is just pointy side up and about 4 inches apart. So that's typically what I do, 2 inches down, 4 inches apart. I fit 5 rows in a 3x4. So I fit 12 cloves in there. So essentially, if I've got 5 rows of 12, I should get 60 heads of garlic out of this one bed. And that's a lot of garlic. So now let me finish planting up this bed, then we'll move over to the other. All right, so the garlic is planted. I got it all watered in. So before I go set sprinklers on our grass, which I'll show you what it's looking like what it does in the fall here in just a second, I did want to show you one other thing on these heads of garlic. So this is a really good example right here. When you go to plant your garlic, you want to plant the best cloves off the best heads. So like this one right here is a little bit subpar. You can tell it didn't grow as big. The cloves are probably tiny, as opposed to this one. Like, let's check it out. See if I can do this one-handed. So that's a nice sized clove right there. Let's see what we get off this one. And there's that one there. It's not horrible, and you could definitely plant that one, but you want to pick the very best ones you can to plant, because that's the kind of crop you want to perpetuate. And as far as garlic that you buy at the grocery store goes, sometimes that garlic is treated with a growth regulator, I think, or a sprout inhibitor. Is it a sprout? I think it's a sprout inhibitor. So what'll happen is the garlic will emerge, like it'll come up, and then the tops will start to brown and twist, and it'll never form a head. So you want to make sure to go to your garden center and get certified seed garlic, and that way you make sure that you're getting something that will actually grow. I mean, go for it. If you want to try the grocery store stuff, sometimes it works great, and you know, you really got nothing to lose. But certified seed garlic is the way to go if you want to make sure you're going to get a really nice crop. So now let's run out into the lawn and I'll show you what we're dealing with in terms of dryness. Okay, so I don't know how much you'll be able to see as we enter in here. You can just take a look at this grass and you can tell it's getting a little bit dry because it's looking a little bit silver, like dusty looking. Maybe in the shade we can see better. Like over here in particular, it's starting to yellow a little bit and it's getting patchy. And that's not something I really want to have to deal with in the spring. Also, I think a bird met its end in our grass last night. Sad. And as we move into the backyard, you can see the tracks from the lawn tractor, and that's a sure sign that one, we probably have been driving on this section a little bit too much, and two, you can usually take it unless it's dry. So we really need to correct that problem. We've been trying not to drive and or walk on any of the grass right now, just so we don't like get it any worse. I mean, look at this section right here. That looks so sad. Also, like, what in the heck? What in the world? Oh, sad tracks. I've already got a sprinkler pulled out to set on the grass, but I'm gonna water all of these brand new, right there, hydrangeas that we planted like in part of summer, and then I also planted some limettas over on the other side. And so I wanna bring the hose over here, give those just a little bit of supplemental water before, actually, you know what? I think I could probably set the sprinkler so it'll hit this flower bed. I think that's what I'll do. So let's go grab the sprinkler. I'm gonna hit these really quick. It's usually one of the last things on our mind to keep things watered when it gets really cold out, but it's so important, especially for things that were newly planted, that they stay hydrated and they don't dry out. I've got a couple different sprinklers out here. This is the one I'll be using out in the bigger sections of grass because it's got really good coverage. And then this one right here I'm gonna use like in the flower beds near the house that have the hydrangeas because I can control where this one shoots a little bit better. So we're gonna start with that. Crap, I got the camera all wet. Well, that's unfortunate. That'll work out perfectly. That sprinkler is pretty beast. It really has good coverage. Way better than I thought. So that is it for today's video. I got all wet trying to save the camera from the sprinkler. I set it way too close. I won't run these sets for very long. I'll probably let it go for 30 minutes or maybe even 20 minutes. I'll come out here in 20 minutes and check it, and then I'll just move the hose all around the grass and just give it all a little bit of a drink, and then hopefully we just get it kind of like limp it through until we maybe start getting some snow. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's a completely bone dry winter, so you just never know. And then sometimes you get 52 inches of snow because that happened 3 years ago. You just never know what to expect. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, seeing the garlic go in. I'm excited to see it start to grow in the spring. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.